I welcome Professor Kev Show. I got my friend Beth with us from UMass Lowell Career Center. Hey, Beth, welcome to the show.
Hi, Kevin. Happy to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Of course. So, Beth, coming up on the career fair.
Yes,
So,
we
I
are.
come on the show because I want my students to do well at the career fair, plain and simple. So, I want to talk about, going to the career fair.
Mhm.
What's your advice? Things about like what to wear? Do you bring your resume? How to prepare? What's your advice in this
Mhm.
category?
Yeah, so there's a lot that goes into the preparation process. And just to give a little bit of a mental visual for
Yep.
students who may not have been to the fair before. So we host many fairs at UMass Lowell. Um, some of them are in University Crossing, and they're smaller fairs. The one that's coming up later this month is at the Songus Center. It's a much larger fair, and it just like is a little different to navigate. So thinking about the Songus Center fair, there are going to be employers up around the concourse. There are going to be employers down on the ice. So it's good to just have that understanding of the layout and what to expect going in. On our website, we have some videos that show what this looks like, and it's always helpful. Look at pictures. Look at pictures of past fairs to so that when you're going in, you're oriented. But prior to a fair, couple of critical things that students can do to make the most out of that experience. One is update your resume. Your resume should include relevant projects you've completed. It should include your work experiences and include descriptions of skills that you use that are relevant to the kind of experience you're looking for. And get someone else to take a look at your resume and provide some feedback. We have drop-in hours in our office in University Crossing, in O'Leary Library, and on Zoom. So students can get resumes reviewed without an appointment at all. But also ask professionals in your life to take a peek through to give you some feedback. Ask a friend to look through and share. If you were reading this with no context, would you know what I was looking for?
Yep.
Right? That's helpful to get somebody else's eyes on it. One, to catch errors that you may have missed altogether, because when you've looked at a document for so long, it's easy to miss stuff. But two, to make sure that somebody else who didn't sit down and write that resume knows what it is for.
Got
That
it.
is so important. So the preparing your resume piece is something that folks can be working on now, even with the fair being two
Yep.
weeks away.
Yep.
Um, the other really helpful thing to make the most of this opportunity and to really stand out for the better at the fair is to research the organizations you want to speak to.
That
Um,
is
and I know, Kevin, you and I were just talking offline about this as well. But before any UMass Lowell Career Fair, on Handshake, you can see the full list of employers attending. And when you click on an employer, you can see a little bio about who they are. You can see the jobs that they have posted right now. You can see what sorts of opportunities they're hiring for in the moment. Make a target list of who you want to meet with. The fairs, the one at the Songus and other fairs that we host throughout the year are 3 hours max. 3 hours is not enough time to talk to 120 people.
no, not even close.
So it's helpful to make a target list of who you actually want to meet with. Who are the employers who represent industries you care about? Who are the employers that have internships if you're looking for an internship? Who are the employers in the geographic areas that you're interested in working at? And make yourself a short list of maybe maximum 15. 15 employers is a really good, healthy list. And do some research on what they do. Who
And
do they serve?
yep.
What's their mission? What sorts of opportunities do they have that may be a fit for you? When we talk to employers year after year after the career fair, the number one thing they share about what impresses them is when students already know about their organization and they ask informed questions.
Nice. Makes sense. Now, Beth, you still bring hard copies of your resume to the career fair?
You do. You still bring hard copies. So this is also why it's helpful to have a target list because you know I'm going to be talking to ideally 15 organizations, maybe more, maybe less.
We'll bring
So
a couple extra just in case.
yeah, print a couple extras because you never know. But in addition to having the hard copy handout of your resume, it is also really helpful for students to have completed their Handshake profile, because at a UMass Lowell Career Fair, what you're actually going to do is you approach an employer's booth and you scan a QR code to check in. When you scan that QR code, the employer gets your name and they also get a link to your Handshake profile. So
Nice.
having that filled out is really helpful, because what if that stack of resumes gets lost?
Yep.
We've worked with an employer in the past who doesn't accept hard copy resumes because their organization has made a commitment to sustainability. The standard is that most employers do accept hard copy resumes, but what if you speak to that one employer who doesn't? It is helpful to have your Handshake profile filled out so that when they look at their check-in list, they see all your information.
Makes sense. And I try to explain to my students, you mentioned 120 employers. Well, think about how many students are there. So as a recruiter, I'm standing in front of a lot of students doing my best to try to communicate. But at some point in time, personally, I would just get overwhelmed. So having that, making sure you scan that QR code so they know who you are is crucial, right?
Yes, absolutely. And to that point too, yeah, your time to have these conversations during the fair is limited.
Yeah.
This is not your 30-minute interview.
Right.
So it's important to just go in with the mindset that this is my opportunity to meet and make an impression, but there's work to do after this.
Amen.
And we can get into that now, or we can get into it later, Kevin. You let me know.
We'll get into that in the next video. So last thing is a little tricky for me, Beth.
Sure.
I try to remind my students to look as professional as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Still important, right? Please
Yep.
don't wear your pajamas type of thing.
Yes, still important. And I think we all have seen that workplaces by and large have gotten a little more casual than they were maybe 10 years ago.
Yep.
That said, you are coming to this fair to try to demonstrate yourself as a professional. You want to demonstrate that you're taking this seriously. So it is important to still go dressed nicely. Do you need to be in a full suit? Maybe, maybe not. But does it hurt to be in a full suit?
I'd say it doesn't hurt.
Definitely not. It
No.
definitely doesn't, because it shows that you're taking this seriously. It shows that you are a budding professional, and that you're really seeking a professional opportunity. I know that not all students have access to a full suit. So to that point, a couple of things to note is on March 20th, I believe, there is a business clothing pop-up shop happening in Alumni Hall where students can get free business clothes to wear to the fair. So take advantage of that kind of opportunity. If you are limited in your wardrobe, there are things you can do to professionalize what you would wear to class.
Yep.
Borrow a blazer from a friend. Make sure that the slacks you're wearing are clean, that they're not wrinkled.
Right.
There are standard things to avoid in your attire, like don't wear sneakers, don't wear sweatpants, don't wear torn jeans. So think about if you were going into a workplace, what you would wear, and then dial that up one notch.
Smart approach. Smart approach. So the last thing I want to go back to, Beth, is the resume.
Mm-hmm.
As a professor, I get a lot of requests. Can you read my resume? And I smile and go, did I ever tell you about my friend Beth at the Career Center? Because again, sometimes people mean well, but hey, this is what I look for. But maybe that's not the same as in today's world where resumes have changed. I know when I had to put one together to get hired at the university, I didn't even know where to start. I'm like, please, 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 I'll look at it for you, but please, please go to the Career Center. They know what's current. They know what's expected. Because sometimes, again, we mean well, but maybe we're not giving you the best advice just because our skills are outdated. So do both, let your friends find all your typos and now take it to the Career Center for the expert advice. So Beth, what's the best way for people to reach out if they have any questions about anything we talked about today or how to prepare for the career fair?
Yeah, great question. So on our website at career.uml.edu, couple of really helpful things. One, students can find our drop-in hours. So there's a big blue button at the top of our website that says meet with an advisor. That will show the drop-in hours. And in addition to our drop-in hours, if you are someone who just works better having something physically on your calendar, there is a 15-minute scheduled resume review option as
Yep.
well. So students will see both of those options. But in addition, for students who are really just getting started with resumes, on our website, we have a section that's learn how to write a resume or cover letter, where we have an effective resume writing guide that shows
Nice.
sample resumes from different levels of academic experiences. So if you're a first year student, there's examples in there for you. If you're a master's student, there's examples in there for you.
Awesome. Beth, I appreciate taking a few minutes to call on the show. And as always, thanks for being my friend.
Thanks to you, Kevin.